नमस्कार. आयच्या हेडोनाक तुमकां सगळ्याक येवकार. आणि आमची बरोबर आज आसात एंटी करप्शन ब्युरोचे एसपी. आणि म्हाका दिसता जाणी जर काम सारकें केलें जाल्यार लोकांचे भरपूर टेन्शन कमी जावपाक शकता. बॉस्को जज सर, वेलकम टू द शो.
थँक्यू.
सगळ्यात पयली गजाल म्हळ्यार अकस्मात सामकी एक एकदां तुमगे रेडी जातात आणि मागीर अकस्मात परत सगळें शांत जाता. What is the matter? Let it go to people sometimes attach motives also to these raids. Let us go to the motives later. But what happens? Suddenly there is a surge and suddenly it is down. Why?
Pramod, you must understand that I just took charge hardly a month back. So I think maybe since I'm a regular SP posted over there, so people do come forward and want to give their complaints. Maybe previously the SP who was there had a lot of additional charge and he was not known much to the Goan people as compared to maybe being from Goa. So there's a possibility that we know the officer, we know his credibility. I believe so. Then they do come forward. That could be one advantage. So that's the reason I feel.
एक गजाल जाता की तुम्ही काय हाय प्रोफाईल रेड्स कंडक्ट केल्यो. देर आर टू थिंग्स. एक लोकांकडच्यान इन्फॉर्मेशन येवप आणि लोकांनी तुमकां टिप्स दिवन इनपुट्स दिवन तातूंतल्यान मागीर एक ऑपरेशन करून तुम्ही कोणाक तरी धरप. आणि सेकंडली तुम्ही कांय गजालींची सुमोटो दखल घेवप. हाऊ डू यू डिफरन्शिएट अँड हाऊ दिस वर्क्स फॉर जनरल पब्लिक टू नो?
There is one thing, Pramod, if it is a trap case, which I always keep appealing, if people come forward, it is something that on that part there is no it's black and white. The person has made a demand and our duty is to see that it is accepted and he's trapped. So that's an open shut case. So that becomes very good for us. So in that case we have to wait for someone to come forward, and if he is willing, because if you try and induce the person complaint, it will be a sort of entrapment. It is not a trap.
Legally it cannot work.
And it is a failure. So I take that precaution of listening to the conversation, seeing that there is no tampering, there is a clear cut, it is sealed, packed, and accordingly we do that. Second part, if you are saying about suo motu, now there is something going viral. It is there in the domain, public domain. So there also it is to give some confidence to the people at large that yes, we can take cognizance of this, that we do such cases. And if there is, I will not hesitate honestly to take cognizance of such cases.
So म्हाका एक गजाल सांगात. तुम्ही पयली तुमचे कडेन चार्ज आशिल्लो, मदीक थोडे काळा खातीर तुमचे कडेन चार्ज नाशिल्लो आणि आता परत तुमचे कडेन चार्ज आसा. जनरली आमकां खबर आहा की ते फेसबूक ओपन करूं, ट्विटर ओपन करूं, आमी सगळे जाण सगळे जगाक करप्शनाचे शर्माव दित असतात. सगळे जाण सांगतात की अशी करपा जाय, तशी करपा जाय. पूण जेन्ना आपल्याचेर परिस्थिती येता तेन्ना प्रत्येकाचे एक मायंडसेट आसता की चल आता कितें जाता तें फटाफट करया, कोणाक कितें दिवपा तें दिवया आणि आपल्यालें काम करून घेवया. आणि मागीर वचप आणि फेसबुकार तुगेली व्हडली शापत सांगप. हो एटिट्यूड चेंज जाला काय? वी आर स्टील कीबोर्ड वॉरियर्स आणि फेसबुक वॉरियर्स. तुमची म्हाराग कितले गोंयकार प्रामाणिकपणान असली केसीस घेऊन येतात?
It is as it was in the beginning, is still now. Big talks, big this thing. Criticize the agencies. I always keep saying, please take one step. Take a few steps and come to the ACB. If we have not done our work, then you blast us. But if we do, you only take one step to come with real evidence. We will take the rest of the steps to ensure that it is gone to the court of law. That is there. And as you rightly said, आमचे शापोता अजून, and nowadays our great Goans have gone even abroad. From there also you will get inputs,
There also they will tell you shapota.
It doesn't miss. But it is nobody who wants to come forward. At the most they will say, साहेब ते माशे फोन करता काय आणि माशे सांग की ते फाईल क्लियर. I said sorry. That I'm not going to.
So basically आमकां फावोर जाय.
फावोर जाय सारकें.
आमकां एक्शन नाका. पण व्हेरी फ्रँकली लोकांची तकल्या एक गजाल असता की एसीबीचेर पॉलिटिशियनाचो भरपूर प्रभाव असता आणि अल्टिमेटली द टॉप बॉस रिमेन्स द पॉलिटिशियन. आणि ताका लागून कोणाच्याय अगेन्स्ट जर गेले जाल्यार गोंया भितर हो हागेलो मनीस तो तागेलो मनीस अशे स्टॅम्प मारिल्ले आसात. सो एसीबी सुद्दां काम करतना मातशी फाटी फुडें जातली म्हणून आनी तुमचेरूय प्रेशर येवपाक शकता. हो कॉन्फिडन्सूय गोंयकारां मदीं आज ना. दे फील दॅट इवन द एंटी करप्शन ब्युरो will come under pressure, nothing will happen.
You are right in saying that. As long as the ACP is an organization under the government, however much I may try to put forward to the people, that will always be behind the mind. That no, he is there. And even if I may try to be as clear, as transparent, that thing cannot be erased out. Okay.
You are saying that preconceived notion is here to stay.
Okay. We need some system wherein maybe the ACB chief is answerable to some oversight, because he cannot be given the autonomy or whatever you call independence, because then he becomes a dictator. He will try to use and misuse and abuse his power. Okay. In the same way it is done. Maybe we need to think of something of an oversight committee wherein he is answerable to some, I don't know what is this thing, not only in Goa, but on all. When it is an anti-corruption wing, yes, we technically, not technically, but otherwise I don't report to the DG. I don't report to any of the police department. So in that way, there is a clearance. I report only to the chief secretary, who is the chief vigilance officer. Okay. So in that way, there is this thing that, okay, there are no middle people except me and the chief secretary. Nobody else interferes. And it has been over this thing, as long as I've been there, that even to the extent the political leadership has generally avoided.
No, this is one thing. See, we know Bosco George, and generally politicians also know Bosco George. So they also know how much to meddle in Bosco's work and how not to meddle in Bosco's work. But tomorrow it can be somebody else.
Yes.
There are two thoughts always. Ki ACB चा जो head असता, तो generally एक specialized मनीस असतो आणि तो पुलिसेंतल्यान आसचो न्ही. कारण then he is susceptible to transfers, then he is susceptible to pressures, आणि ultimately एक तकल्याक असता की आज आपण हांगा आसा, 2 वर्सांनी आपल्या परत डिपार्टमेंटा वचची पडटले आणि परत आपण त्याच चक्रा भितर सापडटलो म्हण. हे आसना तकल्या. Frankly, very frankly.
See,
how can a person work independently if there are these fears at the back of his mind?
See, I can understand, Pramod. At my level, this may not be this thing. If I'm an SP, as I'm an SP over here, I may be SP in the wireless. It's fair enough. I'm only moving here, but that's lower down the rank. Yes, I mean these possibilities will always be there.
My frank question is, don't these possibilities affect the functioning?
Like you said, it depends on person to person. Now, when they are under me, I have taken the full responsibility for every action of my subordinates. I say, yes, you can punish me because it happens because of me. And maybe that confidence, they are able to work independently. I'm just saying, again, I'm not trying to throw my weight and say this way. But yes, if they, in our police language, there is a saying when in the academy, jiska faujdar gandu, uska fauj bhi gandu. So for me, that becomes very important, that I have to lead, and I have to lead correctly. So automatically, my subordinates will follow that.
But so one thing, what is an ideal system for an anti-corruption branch? कारण इंडिव्हिज्युअल स्पेसिफिक एसीबी आसपाक शकना की आज हो बरो ऑफिसर आसा म्हणून बरी चल्ला, फाल्यां हो बाबत ऑफिसर आयलो म्हणून बाबत चलपाक लागले, की दॅट ब्रांच कॅनॉट फंक्शन. एक गजाल तुम्ही सांगतात की आय वॉन्ट टू आस्क यू, बिकॉज यू स्पोक अबाउट एन ओव्हरसाइट कमिटी काइंड ऑफ अ मेकॅनिझम. लोकायुक्ताचे फाल्यां नोडल एजन्सी तुम्हीच जातात. कॅन दॅट बी अ परमनंट सिस्टम? दॅट बिकॉज लोकायुक्त, दॅट होल मेकॅनिझम हॅज बीन क्रिएटेड एज एन अँटी करप्शन system, and you are also an anti-corruption system by default. By name, you are anti-corruption system. Can there be a provision? Will that succeed if the ACB reports to Lokayukt and nobody else? There will be an oversight. There will not be that danger of dictatorship. At the same time, there will be accountability.
I'm not sure if it is
Workable.
solution, because let's see, because the legal points are only a police officer can investigate cases.
Correct.
Okay. The superintendence of the investigating agency lies with the state.
Correct.
Okay. If the state wishes to withdraw a case, the state, it's the state. Now, how you mingle or gel it, I'm not sure it is, it will be this thing. It will able to work. Because even the Lok Ayukta, it is not an investigating agency. It conducts an inquiry and it has to give it to the state.
Correct.
It is to the ACB to investigate the thing. Prima facie, it is established, then fine.
Then ACB comes into picture.
Then ACB comes into picture. So maybe I'm still of the opinion, like I said, we should not be directly under the executive. Okay. And overall, maybe there is a...
But you are saying you need the support system of the executive.
Definitely. There's no two ways. For every... If I have to proceed send my officer to the rest of India for investigation, where does he get the finance? It comes from the accounts department. It is a department. It is this thing. So we are under the vigilance department. Any notifications, everything, it's the vigilance department. So we need this thing. And again, answerable, everything is answerable. You have to go to the legislature. Who do you answer to? Again, it is the vigilance department that is answerable for us in the legislature. Correct. So these things, these things need to be worked out to gel in properly.
But you frankly believe that there has to be a revamp of the existing system where ACB becomes more independent and these external factors do not play on the minds of the officers?
Absolutely. It needs a sort of this thing wherein like a certain tenure guarantee. It requires certain financial this thing. We can use it because sometimes, like now in the ACB, the vigilance does give us secret fund. So sometimes you have to move. Sometimes you have to take your punchers, you have to entertain them, you can this. So in that way, we, of course, when I put, at the beginning, I put these proposals to the government. Government was good enough to give me all these facilities. Now, even if I have to buy some spy cams, this, that, you require these financial. Correct. If I am going to make all those things, then it becomes it will be a problem. So in that way, yes. But as I said, perception of the people that we are not directly reporting to the executive needs some change.
But एक गजाल म्हाका सांगात, because these are real genuine issues. एक स्टेप जाली ती म्हळ्यार लोकायुक्ताची इन्क्वायरी जाली की प्रायमा फेसी एविडन्स मेळ्यार केसीस तुमचे म्हऱ्यान येता. आता पयलीं आमचे म्हऱ्यान लोकायुक्तच नाशिल्लो. आता फाटले 7-8 म्हयने लोकायुक्त आसा. Has there been any change? Very frankly, कितली प्रकरणं तुमचे म्हऱ्यान आयल्यात? आणि कारण आमी म्हणटा तशें गोंयकार लोकायुक्त ना तेन्ना लोकायुक्त ना 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 म्हणपा आमकां बरें दिसता. Now the system is in place, the person is in place. कितलो प्रोग्रेस जाता on the front of corruption?
See, it would not be prudent for me to comment on Lokayukt.
Not comment, but a kind of complaint.
The institution.
Number of complaints you have received after prima facie inquiry.
See, I'm regarding the institution and all this.
Correct.
Why I'm saying is because the from the very beginning, it is an inquiry committee.
Correct.
What more? Finally, the investigation has to be done by a police officer only.
But लोकायुक्ता म्हऱ्याक कंप्लेनी वचून तुमचे म्हऱ्याक त्यो मागीर इन्क्वायरी फॉरवर्ड जावपाचें कितें जालां तो उत्साह गोंयकारांनी दाखयला?
No enthusiasm at all. You rightly said. We want all organizations. We want all institutions, but nothing seems to be this thing because finally the buck has to come to us and we have to see rather than just take a simple thing. Someone has a complaint, it comes to the anti-corruption, we prima facie feel that yes, it needs to be investigated, we may register an FIR or further inquiry, we may register a P based on this. Now what does the Lokayukt? It cannot take sumo to this thing about FIR. It has to conduct an inquiry. Only thing they are doing it on oath.
Correct.
Yeah, they have to this thing. And then after that takes a couple of months, because naturally they are legalistic.
Correct.
They have to go by certain...
They have to be technically accurate.
We go by, okay, that we can establish, because we are accountable, we are answerable, because the court is there, the public is there,
Correct.
Other institutions, so yes. So, but again, there is too many institutions, especially for a small state of Goa.
You are saying that गोंया भितर एक ACB असपाक जाय,
Yes.
ती fully empowered असपाक जाय, at the same time accountable असपाक जाय,
Correct.
आणि ताका powers funding proper असपाक जाय. एक प्रश्न येता, and this I think entire Goa wants me to ask you this question because you have not spoken about it yet. The highlight of your last tenure in the ACB, जे तुम्ही raid मारली and you managed to catch the brother-in-law of the chief minister. आणि ताजे उपरांत तुमचो ट्रान्सफर जालो. And that became the biggest headline. That became a biggest Facebook social media gossip. And rightly, you have preferred as a very honorable policeman in service to stay quiet about it. If I may ask, and I can only request you this, understanding your position very, very truly and with my heart, what is the real story?
You, Pramod, you know how situation transfer is a transfer. Okay, I work, I move out. Maybe after I retire, I can answer.
You don't want to answer it?
No, it wouldn't. It is not
there
proper.
There were agitations that were conducted based on, probably for the first time a police officer got transferred, and there are political parties staying with placards and conducting agitations about it.
Okay. But that's not, see, all this is fine. You raise this thing. You build an institution, like you say. Build an institution. These are not the ways it has to happen. Okay? Strengthen the ACB. Give them fixed tenure that he cannot be removed for next 2 years, 3 years, finished. Have these systems in place. Otherwise, it is these things are bound to happen.
Let me ask you the same question in another way, and not a tricky way. I'll ask you an indirect question, you give me indirect answer, and people of Goa are smart enough to understand. Were you surprised when your transfer orders came that?
No, I think knowing the circumstances.
Yeah.
See, I'll put it this way. Suppose I was a politician, okay, and my brother got caught or something of that sort. Don't you see our own family members put pressure on you? What's the use of you being a bloody politician? What are you going to do? You are damned if you do it, doubly damned if you don't do it.
I think that you're looking at it from a wrong perspective. As a journalist and as a citizen of this country, I would prefer to look at that scenario from your perspective rather than a politician's perspective.
I talk to you from a politician, from a police officer.
You are taking a safe path of talking from a politician's perspective.
No, okay.
I will take the safe path of talking from a policeman's perspective.
Yeah.
From the policeman perspective, were you surprised?
No, not.
You are expecting it?
No, not expecting, but
it was a natural consequence of something.
Something has to take place. You see, you just think about it. How do you react? How would you say, okay, we have to move? Then it's fine, I moved.
Second question, let's talk the technicalities of that case. Let's not go into the politics of that case. And I completely understand, as I told you in the beginning, that I completely I sympathize with your situation. Were you aware that you are raiding the brother-in-law of the chief minister and the home minister?
No. First of all, I was not aware.
Okay.
Not only me, but nobody was aware. And in a way, good I was not aware. Because if it was, my conscience would be pricking, because I would not want to leak that information or what my subordinate, because it would play on my mind that can it this thing.
Absolutely, it would play on your mind.
No, I'll give this thing. The recent case that we took place against additional. I'm just giving this thing. It played on my mind because when I joined the department, this person taught me investigation. He was only a constable, but when I joined in '88 at Mapsa police station, he taught me, sir, this is how you investigate the case. And when this complaint came, and I said, oh shucks, But it would be wrong on my part to inform or leak, because then the confidence of the people would be that what is the use of going to the ACB? So, like I said, I did not know, and I'm happy I did not know.
When did you realize that what you have done is such a high-profile thing?
No, my trap laying officer, he calls me and he says, "Sir, this has happened. What do I do?" I said, "There's nothing else you can do except to proceed legally." I mean, you can't do anything. It's the credibility of my uniform, the credibility of the ACB. What am I supposed to do? I have to follow. I have to go this thing. There's no. I wouldn't. Even if I have to rethink and think, I would do the same thing again, because that's it. Because the person is not important. It is the institution of the ACB that was very important for me. My uniform, I'm very proud of my uniform. That is my
absolutely everybody knows that.
Maybe, and even when I have to trap a police officer, I think twice. But I said no. In the greater good, they have to be punished for that.
Kitlo pressure ashillo case pop karpa khatir?
No, see, as you rightly said, politicians also know that they would not call me.
Correct. But there will be external factors trying to pressure.
No. I went, see, you have to, because the media is scrutinizing you.
Yeah.
The courts are, how is Bosco George going to act in this circumstance? So I said, we act by the book.
So you can choose not to comment on what I'm saying, but the general conclusion that I can draw is that you cannot manage Bosco George, so you transfer Bosco George. You cannot manage Bosco George, so you transfer Bosco George. And I fully understand if you don't comment on that. But एक लोकांभितर अनेक असता की ज्यांना हाय प्रोफाईल केसेस असतात, including ही जी असा केस of the brother-in-law of the chief minister. लोकांक दिसता की सुरुवातीक बोवाळ जाता आणि कांय महिन्या उपरांत हे जे लोक असतात ते परत सर्व्हिस जॉइन जातात आणि ते कामाक लागतात. एक लॉजिकल कंक्लुजन जाका आमी म्हणतात, थंय ह्यो गजाली पावना. हे कित्याक जाता?
Okay, anyway, good you this thing.
Yeah.
Just before I could come and sit down with you for an interview, I received the voice samples, from the laboratories in 3 cases, and one, it's included this case also. So it does take time, and positive report has come. So naturally, it will see the light of the day in the next month or so. It will see the light of, because we just received from 3 cases that the voice samplings are correct, are positive.
साहेब डिले जाता हे मान्य करता, बट डिले कितलो असतो? इतलो डिले की फायनली तो मनीस सस्पेन्शनांतल्यान भायर येवन परत ड्युटी जॉइन करता विदाउट फेसिंग एनी स्ट्रॉंग प्रोसिक्युशन. How much delay is the fair delay?
See, there are 2 things. First of all, you cannot keep a person suspended for quite like.
That's why we no even
let's say
innocent जर असा जाल्यार सुद्धा तो इतलो दीस कित्याक सस्पेंडेड उरतो?
See, and it is not in the government's interest to keep him suspended for long. Why? I'll tell you. Is you have to pay him fully. So he's earning, means he's not working, and yet he's getting a full salary.
Correct.
Okay, so it's better you reinstate him and make him work, but don't give him those sensitive departments which he was. This is my
and continue the investigation.
And investigation continue. Now delay. You're rightly saying. You see, in these there are 2 major things that we have to do. The trap case is over within, say, 48 hours.
Correct.
We complete the work and it is over. We record statements, we get the court, we get the bail, this, that, everything. Now, what comes is the voice sampling. Okay, so that you take another 2, maybe 1 more week, because it has to be done in different stages. Now, we don't have a laboratory in Goa that will accept that can analyze the voice. So we need to literally beg other states.
Correct.
And they don't take, because they say we have our own states.
Correct. We have our own priorities.
Priorities. So this thing. So and then they say send it after 3 months. What do? We have to really preserve that, because time and this thing also can deteriorate.
एक जो लोकांच्या तकल्यांत आनी एक प्रश्न आसा तो तुमी म्हळें की एक ट्रॅप केसी भितर थिंग्स गेट ओवर व्हेरी फास्ट, कारण तितली तकली फोडपाची गरज आसना. इवन हे जे बारीक बारीक गजाली आसात तांकां टायम लागलो तरी दोज आर एस्टाब्लिश थिंग्स, हय किंवा ना हे क्लियर उत्तर मेळपाक शकता. आतां बाबू कवळेकरा सारकी केस जाचेर सिरियस चार्जीस आसात, ECB सिरियसली इन्व्हेस्टिगेट करता. तुम्ही बाकीच्या स्टेटी भितर वचून डिस्प्रपोर्शनेट असेट्सांची केस इन्व्हेस्टिगेट करतात, बट ते खंयच कंक्लुजनाक पावना. आतां हातूंत भितर दोन गजाली आहात. एक, इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन करपाक तुमकां जेन्युइनली इतलो टायम लागता. दुसरी, बाबू कवळेकर being a person who is not in power and now the opposition leader politicians want to use that case as a sword hanging over his head to drop it at an opportune time. And ECB is hand in glove with the government or the politicians to do that. Okay. How would you defend that charge?
Before I could come, the file pertaining, you see, it took us quite some time because it's a case of disproportionate assets. Okay. Now, the leader of the opposition, he has various businesses. Okay. Whatever may be this thing. Each thing needs to be investigated. This is the source from this. His income is from this source. This income is from this source. And we have to keep justifying all these things right up which regarding his properties, regarding his house. And as you know, in Goa, that is, especially when a person constructs his own house with anything, there is no real record to this thing. So then we have to rely on PW to give us certain estimations. That took a lot of process. Second thing, the documents that we had to get were all in Malayalam. Again, we have to get a translator to get all this, because finally these are all evidence that you have to take in the court. Okay. Third thing, as you rightly said, we don't have that financial power. We have to appoint a chartered accountant. Okay. Initially, some were reluctant, some conditions are there that you have to pay us. I mean, there are so many things. So, and again, it from the ECB, it goes to the government to finance. So these took. But let me tell you, after all these things, we have submitted the file to the government that we need with a certain conclusion regarding this case. See, let it come from the government, then I can make it public. But we have given a very fair thing that this is the entire inquiry.
You are saying that preliminary investigation has concluded.
The inquiry has concluded, and we have given, this file has been sent to the government.
Now government, you are saying, can sit over it, and it's not ECB's moderation. You have done your job. Now it's government job to see when to drop the sword.
I can't say that. I'm just saying we have conducted a fair investigation, given him a chance to explain all his things,
and the conclusion has been submitted.
And because for us to register, finally, he has some. The government can agree with us that yes, or you require to further investigate these things. It's
Sir, I have always respected you for the positions you have taken, and aaj suddha you came here. I know there are some uncomfortable things that by the fact that you are in service you cannot speak, but still you gave a frank interview. Thanks a lot. Pleasure talking to you.